Hello everybody, welcome back to Automation. My name is Marcus, and today we're continuing in episode 2 of our Let's Play of Contera, the Hetvasian GT car company. Last episode we released our first set of trims, a GT car and a convertible. Today I want to get at least one, if not two facelifts knocked out for that vehicle, and then think a little bit about what the future of our company looks like. Before I dive into designing a new car, though, what I would like to do, since we have pretty strong sales at the moment of our current model, the only thing we've really unlocked a facelift on would be this 2-barrel carb, and that would be worthwhile, but I'm wondering if what we should do is rush this 2-shoe drum brakes. I really should have been doing it from the beginning, but I kind of forgot. Rush these 2-shoe drum brakes, try and get a facelift of that out, and then maybe around 54, 55, when that comes out, we can facelift on things like the radial tires and progressive springs. I think will be really useful for us. Maybe we won't need progressive springs. Maybe we'll stick with standards. I don't know, but that would be something that I want to take a look at. Let's, I think I have this set here to +3 at the end of last episode. So let's go ahead and let this play for a little while until the 2-shoe drum brakes unlock, and then we can go ahead and make our design. Now I paused the game real briefly here just to take note of a slight problem that we're having. And that's that we have a lot of back-ordered stock piled up for our car. So what I'm going to do is pop into the forecaster and raise prices a little bit, and hopefully that allows us to catch up with those back orders. Let's see. I did find out the hard way in previous playthroughs that if you stop producing a car while you still have a pile of these back orders outstanding, you'll have to give back all the money, and that can be quite a dent for a small company like ours. Okay, here we are. It's mid-1950. We've just unlocked the 2-shoe drum brakes. I think we're ready to make our facelift of the car. Our stock numbers are at least going in the right direction. I still might want to hike the price maybe up just even a little bit more, say maybe 25 grand. I'm not sure. We might be able to make that gap up. I'm not sure. We'll see. But let's go ahead and start making the refresh. For our engine, of course, we are just going to make an updated version of our existing engine. This is going to be the S50, and as mentioned before, the main upgrade that we're going to be making is to the 2-barrel carbs, which are a pretty massive improvement over the single barrels. I think that's going to really help us wring some more power out of this engine. We can run it a little bit richer, too. Maybe take it down to a 13.5. And a little bit of breathing room on octane, not a ton. Take the ignition timing up, maybe just to 45. Rev it tiny bit higher. Pop one more quality point into the valve train just to let it breathe a little bit more freely at the top of the rev range. That looks like a really nice power curve there. About 163 horsepower. Yeah, that looks good. I think the only thing left to do is just round out our compression there so we get every little bit of power out. Brings us up to 165 horsepower. That's a really nice amount. I do think the other thing we want to do is move over to reverse flow mufflers to get it a little bit more quiet. And that means we have to expand the exhaust a little bit. That's okay. And actually, this is excellent. It brought our power up even a little bit higher, closer to almost 170. Very, very good. Taking a look at the trim facelift, I don't think we are going to have any changes in the transmission. I don't want to go over to a 2-speed automatic. I want to stick with the 4-speed manual for now. I'll explore doing the automatic maybe once we unlock a 3-speed, but I just think that having a car with a top speed of 150 miles an hour with a 2-speed automatic is just a little bit ambitious in terms of what we can expect from that auto. But it looks like just thanks to technology, we can make our tires a little wider here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And can I make that one click bigger? 150? I don't think we can do 155s. But 150s look pretty good. That's excellent. That'll help us reduce wheel spin a little bit. And of course, The big upgrade we were looking for here were the 2-shoe drum brakes. And I'm also going to increase the pad type just a little bit. I don't think... I'm okay if early in the game we can't lock all the wheels. This is fine. It just needs to be enough that we can get, like, good braking force, and maybe we just lock the fronts. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We probably still have... No? Well, yeah, we still have the rear braking force warning, but yeah, that's fine. Whatever. Moving right along. Well, we might have to counter this oversteer at high speeds. That's no bueno there. Let's take a look at the interior. I don't think we're going to make any changes here. Upgrade, of course, to advanced 50 safety. That's just a general win. And maybe we'll put one more point of quality into the steering. And I actually think the suspension tuning here looks really good. I don't really see any reason to make changes here. Everything seems really balanced. I guess maybe the one thing is I might want to add in just a little bit more sway bars in the front, sway bar stiffness, maybe in the front. Bring the roll angle down just to closer to a 6. That's about right. Okay, perfect. I think that's going to constitute the 50s model of this. Let's do the convertible. Now, when we do the convertible, really not too much different to see here. We're pretty much going to do the same set of upgrades across the board. Tire sizes, brakes, 2-shoe drums, the works. Okay, I just mirrored all the changes we made on the other ones, safety and suspension tuning alike. I think our convertible here is looking good and ready to go. It's still heavier than the coupe, so it doesn't stop quite as well, but we increased the brakes on it quite a bit, and it's definitely an improvement over what it was. I did realize just now that I never fixed that oversteer, that high-speed oversteer issue on the GT model, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Oh, I guess I did. Huh. Oh, I did it by adding the sway bar stiffness there. And this tuning looks pretty good. Huh, never mind. I guess we're okay. Now getting into the factory setup, there isn't really too much that we're going to change here. I do think I'm just going to maybe invest a few points into tooling quality, because we did have one recall along the way that I don't think I showed on camera while we were waiting to do our new facelift. So we'll increase our tooling quality. It'll naturally get better with time, but we can help it along the way. I don't want to up our automation because we still have 2 limited production factors on our car to begin with. Pretty short engineering time here. Let's go ahead. I want to take my process up to maybe to about 55. Help us take a little bit more profit margin. We'll bring reliability back up to 50. I don't want to spend too much work on it, or too much time on it, excuse me. And then maybe what we'll do, we'll take the funding down just so that we can get our engineering time to a target of 36 months. I think that looks good. And in fact, let's fund it a little bit more generously and make the car a little bit cheaper. There, like so. All right, wonderful. Let's do the same for the engine. Right, we had automation of 30 on this one. Okay. Now for the engine, I am going to engineer in a little bit more reliability because I think that it's a lot lower than what our trim reliability is right now. I'm also going to put a little bit more materials optimization in, and actually that brings us to a perfect 36 months. I think that's exactly what we want without even changing the funding slider. Look at that. And production matches up really nicely. Looking good. Now let's look at pricing. All right. Costs us about $16,000 to make. Oh, why is this one? I got to change the market demographic here. This one was targeted to GT Premium. I want just regular GT. Hold on a second. There we go. And the convertible. Okay, good. The convertible is on Convertible Sport. Wonderful. This pricing thing is still on GT Premium. Okay, well, we'll just have to look at what the pricing is manually. The budget for GT cars right now is 33.4 grand. So let's see. We're selling our current car for 24,000. Let's see if we can sell this one for 25. And this one for 25 as well. Well, our forecaster's looking ugly here, but we can always change the price later. Let's just go with it. Alright, and this is within budget for us, so we can deactivate the loan and just pay for this right out of pocket. Sign it off, and let's go. Alright, let's let this play out. I think we should have enough time that we can get rid of this backlog of stock here, and then our new model will go into production. So I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes when that first comes out, but before we do, I don't want to make the same mistake I did last time. We don't need to be teching in brakes anymore, but this is going to come out in 1953, so if I put 2 points into wheels and 2 points into suspension, let's see, do I want to unlock anything in interior? I don't think so. Ooh, we could unlock Weber carburetors. That might be something worth doing. Let's put 1 point into fuel systems as well. And, ooh, hydraulic power steering. That would be a really, really nice feature. To get it in 1953, what would that be? +3? Can we afford to do that? Total R&D cost, 400 grand. We're making a profit of about 3 million, but that'll probably drop off. You know what? Let's go ahead and research it. Money's no good to hoard. Just spend it, right? We are now on the eve of our updated GT and CV50 trims going on sale, so let's see how they do. We have a decent number of pre-orders. That's very nice. Okay, so far so good. Pause it real quick. Yeah, this is looking really nice. We're having a decent profit margin on both. We are getting through our pre-orders reasonably quickly. Between this episode and last episode, the game did have a pretty good update come out where they changed they changed some of the way that competitor cars were generated. So now the competitor cars are much more varied, and I've noticed on my other playthroughs, it's actually quite a bit harder to keep a competitive edge now in the segments. It's made a really noticeable difference. Really cool to see. Let's see, I guess we were just have a couple more months now just to get that hydraulic power steering, and we can jump right into our new facelift. Boom. Okay, perfect. Let's knock out one more facelift, and then I think it'll be time. This will probably be something for the next episode, but then I think after this facelift, it'll be time to introduce a new model. So we'll have to take a look at the body unlock screen and see if we need to rush any bodies for that or not. Let's go ahead though and bang out this facelift real quick. These are going to be the GT54 and CV54 respectively, of course. Replace the variant. Now, I guess since we're already using performance intake, I kind of really want to use the Weber carburetors. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think they just look, oh yeah, those look really cool. Let's do that. We can open up our exhaust a little bit more, and we can pop maybe a point or two of quality, rev out the motor just a little bit more, and we will take up the slack in compression. Okay, looking good. Looks like we netted ourselves a good 7 or 8 horsepower there by switching over that fueling system. That's a nice gain. Let's give it a listen. Oh, it sounds really good. I like that a lot. All right. Now, of course, the big upgrade here is the switch over to those sweet, sweet radial tires. Oh, thank God. Let's go 165s in the rear. Could we do 165s all around? That's still a little bit wonky on the engineering graph. What if we did 170s? No. That only makes it worse. What about... I think this is the move right here. 175s in the back, 165s in the front. That looks like it makes quite a nice graph for us. Drum brakes. Oh, that's what we'll do. We'll make 17-inch. We'll have to make 17-inch wheels, but that'll let us fit bigger brakes for better stopping. That did lower the max tire size to 165s. What if I... Oh, those are pretty thin. What if I just made them a little bigger? Yeah, that looks good. Okay. What this should also do is let us have a little bit lower gearing. I can take this down. Better acceleration. This car is like a full, almost a second and a half, I think, faster 0 to 60 than the original model was. That's pretty good. Yeah, braking is what it is. We're just going to have to live with that. This screen looks all right. Any updates to be made here? I don't think so. Interior still is what it is. Switch over to the GT. We're not going to make that mistake again. Hydraulic power steering. They do like that quite a lot, even though it's a compromise on sportiness. And this screen, again, I think just because we're heavier and we have more grip, the roll angle's up again. So let's pop one more, or I guess 200 more. Sway bar stiffness. I'm not sure what the unit of measurement indicated here is. But I think we can also, I'd like to dial in a little bit more sportiness than what we have here. So I'm going to bring the front camber up to a -1. Our high speed is looking good. And then I'm going to take the rear down to a -1. And that gives us a slight sportiness bias in our handling, which is exactly what I'm looking for on a GT car. Nothing too extreme, but just a slight bias in that direction. Let's see, do they like progressive springs? They do like progressive springs as well. Most of the demographics I find seem to like them. Comfort and drivability usually outweigh sportiness for most of the segments. But okay, very good. I think I'm happy with that. Let's do a quick test track round now that we've made a few big upgrades and see what the time is. Wow, the car's a lot heavier. .238, or I guess that's really a 239, but still, that's actually a pretty quick time for 1954. I guess this car's probably not going to come out for another 3 or 4 years, but that's still respectable for such a heavy car. All right, let's complete the design. And just as before, run through our same procedure on the convertible. I don't know why the score for this convertible in the convertible super category is just absolutely through the roof, but it's really the convertible sport category that I'm after. Let's go through here. Gearing, same thing. We'll take that down, but we have to do the wheels also. Rim diameter 17. Make these slightly bigger. 175 by 165. Embiggen the drum brakes. All looking very, very good. No changes to the interior. Power steering, we do want that, of course. And progressive springs, we want that as well. Slightly stiffer sway bar. This one has even more of a drivability bias, but I kind of want that for the convertible. Yeah, see, we can even actually go for a little bit heavier front camber on this car and still be, slightly biased in favor of drivability. But I'm okay with that. Roll angle, that looks okay too. And I think on the other one, we lowered our first gear by increasing the spacing a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. We'll do the same here. Okay. Anything else to see here? I don't think so. I think we've made all the upgrades we want to. Now let's do the factory setup. I think we're going to keep everything as is, except for just tweaking up our QA threshold just a little bit, because as our workers have gained some experience now and we have a little bit better tooling, this whole curve has shifted to the right, so we can afford to be a little bit more aggressive on our QA. Engineering, this would be a 27-month car. Let's round it out to, I don't know. I think the engine is actually going to take a significant amount of time because of those Weber carburetors. So let's take the funding and the pressure on this one down a little bit. I want to do another 36-month, and then we'll add in a little bit more in optimization, and we'll take the rest in reliability. Okay, that should be pretty good. We can up the QA threshold for our engine factory setup a little bit as well. And sort of do the same thing here. We'll lower the pressure. Actually, this isn't taking very long at all. We can save a buck on the funding. And round it out in reliability. Yeah, this is a nice looking all-around engine. Okay. Let's complete it. All right, let's think about some pricing for these models. Now, our current model, I think I have the pricing about right on it. With 25 grand, we have our supply is matched to demand pretty close on our existing model. So we're getting rid of our pre-orders very, very slowly, but we're still using nearly all of the factory capacity. This model should, in theory, be a little bit more competitive, but I want to try maybe starting off with that same 25 grand price point. And because that's still a pretty healthy markup. Okay. Yeah, this is still ugly. I don't know. But the scores are looking good. We have a strong markup, and we're saving quite a bit of money here. We should be able to unlock a medium factory pretty soon. Which is very, very exciting indeed. Let's go ahead, sign this one off. Another 36 months. Again, it's entirely within our reach without having to take a loan. Let's sign it right off. And lastly, before we go any further, let's take a look at the body selection pool, because this is going to come out early 57, and it is going to take a while to generate a new model entirely from scratch. We've been able to do these facelifts in about 36 months pretty comfortably, but I think the model's going to take longer. A new model's going to take at least 4 or 5 years. Well, let's see. These 55 bodies here rather would work pretty well. Like, this guy would be a good candidate. That does everything we need it to. So I think is there a body here in the 60s that works well? Yeah, this guy. Well, that's kind of short. Do they have a long version of that? This one could work well as well. That's an interesting one. You know something? I think I've never built a car in this body before, actually. So let's try and shoot for this one. I think it'll be fun. We should only need to have to pop 3 points into body tech to unlock it in time to start it for our new model, and then the body age penalties now in automation actually stack up reasonably quickly for these luxury segments. So it'll be a good advantage if we can use a body that's actually 3 years ahead of time. If we have a 5-year engineering time, but our body is 3 years, we unlock it 3 years ahead of time, it's like the body came out 2 years after it would normally. So that would be kind of nice. That would give us a nice little head start on that body age penalty. So I think we're going to do that. We'll pop 1, 2, 3 points into body quality. Anything else from the 60s that we want to unlock? Ooh. We could make an aluminum engine block. That would be really, really nice. That would save us a lot of weight. I can't resist that siren call. The downside to that means we would have to buy an aluminum foundry plant, which is something I was kind of hoping to delay in favor of getting the medium factory. Should we maybe research it, though, just to keep our options open? I don't know. I'm going to leave it here. Let me know what you guys think. Should we do the aluminum engine plant first, or should we rush straight for the medium factory? I think either one could be viable, but the medium factory is definitely the path for faster growth. Anything else here? Automatic 3? No, I'm okay with that. I'd rather keep the money in my pocket. Wheels, we can take our points out of there. Although we do unlock magnesium in 1961, but I don't want to stretch quite that far out. Disc brakes. We are still struggling with braking, and we can grab these just for popping 2 points into the tech pool. Doesn't look like there's any reason. Doesn't look like there's any reason to keep points in suspension or driver assists, but if we could unlock 1960s safety, I think that would be a nice benefit. Okay. Cool. I think this is going to be our tech loadout. How's our marketing looking? Let's take a quick look at this. Okay. Still going anything here? Maybe what we'll do now that we're making money and we're a little bit more stable, let's put just 1 point of marketing into company prestige in each of our target countries. Should be able to do that. Yeah, altogether that looks like it costs about 200K. And that's within affordable range for us right now. Very, very good. Let's unpause the game for a few years, and I'll see you guys in 1957 when our new and final facelift of the Dragonfly 1 goes on sale. I'm going to pause the game here right quick. This was our first sales tick for the GT and CV 54. We came in with about -4 months of pre-orders, and things were looking good. We ended this one with enough vehicles in stock to keep selling them. I think we overproduced this a little bit. Wow, 1,000 vehicles in stock? I guess that's right. I guess that's about 6 months of sales. That's okay. We'll sell those over time. That's just fine. And let's let this run for just a tick or two and see how sales of the new trim go. Oh, really good so far. Wow, quite a bit more profitable than the GT50. GT50 wasn't quite as profitable as the GT46, but we still made money on it, so no complaints. All right, I'm going to pause the game here before we get too far ahead of ourselves. We have all of these techs still to unlock before I want to dive into engineering our new facelift. Oh, wow, what's this drop off here? Oh, you know what that is, I bet? I bet that is the GT50 stopping selling as we run out of stock. Let's let it run for another tick or two, just to see what happens. Whoa, that's quite a steep slide there. Just gotta stay profitable though. That's the main thing. All right, and stop. All right. Well, our model's selling really profitably. We've managed to save up almost $250 million in cash. That puts our company valuation at about 300. Let's just for kicks mock up building a medium engine factory and see how it would look. Or rather, a medium car factory and a medium engine factory. We're going to need to do both. Let's Hetvasia. Only 7.8 milli for the plot. Medium 1. We will need to buy the steel presses. Not going to make that mistake again. Okay, 130 million bucks for cost of that, plus some money for the tooling. All right, so that would take 130 million. If I design an engine factory, how does this look? 7.8 million for the plot. And 111 million. Okay, so we'd be looking at close to 250 million just in factory and plot costs alone. And then on top of that, we're going to need tooling and engineering costs. It's probably going to cost us at least $50 million to engineer the new model. And then it's probably going to be another $50 to $100 million of tooling, I'm guessing. So we are looking at a total cost of about 400 million. Our company valuation is just shy of that, but maybe if we cut some corners, we could just swing it by leveraging ourselves out to the maximum. There's only one thing left to do for the automation portion of today's episode, and that is export a vehicle to Beamng for our test drive. I'm going to take the GT54. That's sort of the culmination of all of the upgrades that we've made this episode. It's got the most comprehensive of them, and I think we're going to feel a big difference from last time, so that's the one I'm really looking forward to test driving. Let's export it. I'll see you guys over in Beam in a second. Okay, we're back in Beamng.drive with the GT54 of the first generation Dragonfly. It has more power, more grip, more brakes. Let's take it for a spin and see how it feels. That first gear still feels tall, even though shorter than before. The car definitely is noticeably quicker. Wow, it has noticeably more grip as well. Feels a little bit more tail happy as well. Extremely enjoyable car to drive. This car feels really nice. It really benefits from having that extra grip as compared to before. Like that, this much more drivable overall. You know, it's interesting. Despite having more grip than before, this car still feels somewhat under-tired. I feel like it doesn't quite have the cornering capacity to match its power output and its legs. Another thing, this car could really benefit from 5 gears. Like the spacing on these 4 gears is pretty extreme, particularly between 1 and 2. This car on the whole actually feels like it wants to plow a little bit more into corners than before. Although part of this could be that as part of the most recent update, tire physics for these exports got updated, so that also is probably part of the reason why this car is driving differently than the old one. It's still a very pleasant car to drive overall, though. Still quite happy with it. Definitely accelerates notably faster than the old one. Still a pretty good handler for such a heavy, large car. Would really benefit from a limited slip diff as well. You know, so we just spun all that power away on the inside wheel there. Could really use something to help kick the tail out just a little bit on it. I think think that's going to just about wrap it up for today's episode. Overall, I'm going to call our first model here, all 3 trims of it, a pretty good success. It's been a car that's sold well. We've made a lot of money off of it, and including this Swan Song model here, been really nice to drive in Beamng as well. So let me know what you guys would like to see next time. I think we're getting into some really exciting territory here, where in the very near future we can upgrade to a medium factory and become a real car company instead of some guys in sheds welding together steel tubing. Let me know what you guys think and what you'd like to see. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. You can really feel the benefit in this car of having the relatively even weight distribution. This looked quite fast down here. Let's see if it kept the